Hello, Bionicle fans! Once, twice, thrice, oh, it just keeps going. We backstab our way... Oh, that's wrong. We cut our way through the deep, dark forest of our favorite biomechanical beings in the mythos of Bionicle. Apparently, trust is hard to come by in this universe, as it's better to be the betrayer than the betrayed. In the decade that befell Bionicle, we have seen heroes fight against villains, their darkest impulses, and even each other. Characters who stab their own allies in the back, beings who lie to manipulate their betters, or simply figures who betray those they once fought to protect. I am speaking, of course, of the most treacherous and disloyal creatures in the Matoran universe. Friends, my name is TheShadowedOne1, and join me on our hunt to unmask the top 10 traitorous Bionicle characters. This top 10 list will feature G1 characters only, and thus includes heroes, villains, and those in the middle. And oh, who are we kidding? Everyone on this list is a baddie. This list also doesn't include characters who turn bad and then return to the light. Alright, let's get on with it. At number 10, we have Vizon. The maniacal Mad Half-Skakti had to be on this list again. Vizon was created with the spear fusion when Hakan accidentally fired it on Vizok, splitting him into two beings. Vizon immediately picked up on several of Vizok's attributes, including leaving his allies to die when the Paraka were attacked by Monaco. Vizon would eventually meet the Paraka again in the Mask of Life chamber on Voya Nui, and betray them again after they wouldn't kill Vizok for him. Vizon would later work for the Order of Matanui, and would pretend to betray them on many occasions, but would actually betray them for real, if that makes sense. Thus, Vizon's unpredictable deceptions had to be on this list. At number 9, we have Akmu, the smallest traitor on this list, literally. Akmu was a Matoran from Po Metru who reluctantly aided the Toa Metru in their quest to save the city of Metru Nui from the Morbuzak. Trouble is, he was always manipulating or deceiving the Toa to save his own spine. While you could say that Nadiki put him on this path by forcing him to work for the Dark Hunters and do their bidding, Akmu was always a self-serving coward. Even after he was corrupted by Makuta Pterodax, he still did the duties of evil on the island of Matanui, and continued to serve the Makuta during his reign of shadows. Thus, his entrance on this blacklist. At number 8, we have Tuyet. Brachus monkeys, not her again. Tuyet was a Toa of Water and a member of the Toa Mangrai that was stationed on Metru Nui to protect it against threats. Before Nadiki turned, spoilers, he's on this list, Tuyet turned mad with power thanks to the Nui Stone, a small red rock that could absorb the power of all Toa for Kyo around and make the holder near invincible. She betrayed and murdered several Matoran, the very beings she stood to protect, and framed the Dark Hunters for her crimes. When Likan found out about her deceit, she attempted to kill him and destroy all those who could stand in her way, but the Toa fire stopped her plans. Then, in an odd series of events, Tuyet was taken from her prison by the Order of Matanui and placed in an alternate dimension where she once again deceived the ones that held her, and escaped until thousands of years later, she arrived in Metru Nui and continued to lie to those who she had sworn to protect. Wow, jeez. At number 7, we have Velika. Velika was a Po Matoran on the island of Voya Nui who became part of the Voya Nui resistance team and fought against the vicious Paraka who had taken their home. Velika was very fond of riddles, and in fact, he was the biggest riddle of all, because Velika is a great being, a betrayal we never saw coming. Velika is a pseudonym, and we never learn his real name and story. Before Matanui's takeoff from Spherus Magna, Velika transferred his consciousness into the mind of one of his own creations and hid it within the Matoran universe to witness its evolution. However, over time he grew disillusioned with how things were moving, so he hatched a plot to kill all beings of power who could pose a threat to him in his new world order. He killed Trenkram and Karzani, and nearly succeeded in killing one of his own brothers, as well as Axon, Bertaka, Tuyet, Vizon, Mizrix, Helrix, Liwa, and Artaka. Velika betrayed his own brothers and his own creations. At number 6, we have Metis. Metis. Truly the scum on this entire list. Metis was a self-serving and ambitious Agori who successfully masterminded deals between the Bone Hunters and Skral on Barra Magna. His deceit and persuasion skills allowed him to manipulate Tuma to hand control of the Rock Tribe to him if Tuma was slain. Metis could have taken over the entire planet with his newfound army after Tuma's fall had Natanui not intervened and defeated him. Metis betrayed everyone to save his own hind and eventually became the very thing everyone would know him as. A viper, pun intended. Despite having no powers, Metis was a very manipulative being who nearly succeeded in his grand goal. At number 5, we have Rudaka. Ah, Rudaka. Once again, we dive into the dark mythos of this truly sinister vortex. Rudaka was the viceroy and queen of the Visorak Horde, second only to her king Sidorak. Rudaka successfully orchestrated a plan to free Pterodax from his protodermis prison created by the Toa Metru by breaking the seal with the Toa's own elemental powers. Unfortunately, she also used this opportunity to also usurp and allow Sidorak to be killed by Kitangu. Rudaka would later make deals with the Dark Hunters and the Brotherhood of Makuta. These deals put her in line for control of her homeland Zia. However, she also brokered information to both sides, effectively betraying them both. This also put a hit on her head that even she couldn't lie her way out of. Brokering deals with darkness can only lead to one's own fall into eternal darkness, aka death. At number 4, we have Nidiki. Ah, Nidiki, you've truly had a slippery, sickly, and twisted slope. Another member, former member of Likan's team, the Toa Mangai, once again graces this list. Nidiki was a Toa of air from the Trenkrom Peninsula, where it was strike from the shadows or be slain yourself. But it is Metru Nui where the darkness arose from the pit. During the Toa Dark Hunter War, Nidiki grew tired of his regimented lifestyle and wanted to aspire to bigger and better things. He made a deal with Floriska to end the war and betray the Toa to the Dark Hunters, but Likan, thanks to Hakan, discovered his treachery and surprised the Dark Hunters with a Toa army of his own. Nidiki was banished from Metru Nui with the Hunters. Later, Toa Nidiki would try to leave the band of mercenaries only for the Shadowed One to have Rudaka mutate Nidiki into an insectoid monster, effectively trapping him with the Dark Hunters forever. Nidiki would return to Metru Nui again, betray and kill his own brothers, and then defeat Likan one last time before being killed by Makuta Pterodax in his final betrayal. At number 3, we have Takanox. Takanox was a Baraki and former member of the League of Six Kingdoms. Former? Why, you ask? Because he betrayed the Baraki to the Brotherhood of Makuta just when they were about to launch an attack on the Great Spirit Mananui. Takanox was hired by Mizrix to spy on his own Baraki, and while at first it seemed like he did it reluctantly, it was revealed he willingly did so, especially when Mantax uncovered his treachery in the pit. Takanox attempted to use his privilege to spare his life against Pterodax, but the Makuta only cast him into a nightmare for his pithiness. The Baraki allowed him to live before the Order Mananui used Takanox for suicide missions, where Karapar, another instance of his deceit, was killed by Trenkrom. Takanox would later betray Brutaka and the Federation of Fear and escape yet again. Takanox's deceit truly knows no bounds. At number 2, we have Pterodax. Wait, what? How can this be? How can Pterodax not be number 1 on the top 10 Traitorous BIONICLE Characters? Well, there's just one more that may top old Terry. Pterodax, as we all know, and is pointless for even doing this recap, was the Makuta of Metru Nui, and the leader of the Brotherhood of Makuta, who successfully orchestrated a master plot that spanned hundreds of thousands of years to take over the Mananui robot and thus the entire universe. He manipulated Matoran, Toa, Dark Hunters, Paraka, Baraki, the Order of Mananui, and even his own Makuta brothers to achieve total and utter victory, and then killed those who could stand in his way. However, despite all this, he isn't truly the most treacherous, as Pterodax never planned to share power, and it was all one big deception the whole time. He never considered anyone to be his equal, and thus his entry on this blacklist. At number 1, and the most traitorous Bionicle character is... the most deceptive reveal yet, and there's not even one character, but an entire group! Friends, the most treacherous faction in all Bionicle is the Paraka! Zaktan, Vizok, Thok, Radak, Avak, and Hakan were the most duplicitous, deceptive, double-crossing, and traitorous characters in the Matoran universe. Don't believe me? Just read all 5 books dedicated to their constant backstabbing. The Paraka were prone to infighting and are always trying to kill each other despite being on the same team for the entire duration for their hunt for the Kanoi Ignika, the Mask of Life. Funny of all, had they not tried to deceive or destroy each other, they would have succeeded in their grand goal. Different Paraka made alliances with each other in the event that if one or the other was victorious, they could remove competition. They often clashed against one another, especially Hakan and Zaktan. Everyone feared Zaktan, and righteously tried to kill him on several occasions, and paid the painful price. The Paraka also deceived the entire populace of Voyanui to believe that they were Toa to serve them, and would later use Brutaka as a tool for them as well. Luckily, they failed in their endeavors thanks to the Toa Inika, once again because of their own dark nature. Thus, their entrance as number 1 on this blacklist. And that concludes top 10 traitorous Bionicle characters. Tell me what you thought of my list. Who would you pick as your top 10 treacherous characters? Comment, like, subscribe, and share. It helps me out and pushes me to make more great content for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.